See the power of the mind is not a joke.
I'm gonna start off today's episode, guys, by telling you that it's totally okay and it's totally normal to feel a little sleepier and to feel down and not to feel like you have just as much energy and going about your days, and everything feels more like a dread and everything requires more energy out of you. And I was having these thoughts over the weekend. Let me be honest. Took a few days to reflect. Weather wasn't too great, but took my time by myself in my lonesome and really sat with my thoughts and spoke with a few people. Obviously, had those conversations. And what came up and the way that the consensus that I've came down to and how I've narrowed that down is I just think as a collective, as one, we are extremely tired of doing. And the last time I checked, we are not human doings, but we are human beings. So I'm going to challenge you right now to think what is the way that you want to be? Who are you? Who is that? I am dot dot dot. Who is that being that you are? What are you being? What kind of energy are you exuding? What kind of energy are you emitting? What kind of energy is coming in? Not what you're doing. Doing is all in the ego. It is in the action. It is the things you do. It is things you take merit for. It is things that you've accomplished. They're all great, but that's not you. Those are things that you have done. Who is that being that did those things? And I think this is where we're coming to a shift where a lot of people are waking up to the idea of, hey, in the last, I'd say like 4 or 5 decades, it's been a lot of doing and all of the things that we do all the time. I need to do this, I need to do that. And we become so unconsciously tapped out of who it is that we are that we don't feel any enjoyment, we don't feel any play, and we just get lost in this sort of unconscious program of all the things that we have to do in order for our survival. We need to wake up with an alarm, we got to go to work, we got to do this. And yes, those are all things, but at the end of the day, who are we being while we are doing those things? And that's where I feel like most people have forgotten that connection and have sort of lost their touch to who it is that they are. Because at the end of the day, who you are, it affects every aspect of what you do. And the person that is who they want to be, they don't mind what they're doing because everything's enjoyable, everything is play, compared to if you focus on everything that you have to do, you sort of tend to move yourself to the side and you're not who you want to be or who it is that you are, but you naturally fall into the unconscious programs that are programmed within your mind, which is just programmed. They're programmed in there, so that's why they come naturally, and you don't have to think, you don't have to put any effort. It's just automatic, and the autopilot just comes on, and then you're that version that's doing all those things. But the version of who you are is the one that's going to manifest the kind of results that you want in your life, in any aspect, in any area of your life. But you got to change who you are, not what you do. Because if you change who you are naturally by shifting that identity and being the version of who it is that you want to be in the present moment, well, then every action, every circumstance, every environment aligns to the energy that you are, of who it is that you are in the present moment, of who you're being, not what you're doing. Because doing is simply action. It is a transmutation of energy from one point to another, and that's it. But it doesn't change who it is that you are inside of your chest. Because remember, we are spiritual beings with a mind inside of a physical body. But so the body is just here to observe, it is here to perceive. But that is your lower self, the physical self. The lower self is here. The lower self needs its other half, your higher self, your soul, your mind, the unlimited. Lower self is limited, higher self's unlimited. So it has to connect. But the lower self, it perceives, it looks around and it's like, okay, this is that, this is that. It perceives everything, but it can't conceive. That's the job of the higher mind, the higher self. The higher self conceives, and through the perception of the lower self, of everything that you experience, the contrast that you go through, and everything that you get to live in your day to day, well, you're then able with the contrast to be like, I like this, I don't like that. And then it acts as a guide to know exactly what it is that you want, to make your demand and ask of the universe, hey, I want this, I appreciate this, I desire this in my life. Why? Because I don't like this, I don't like that. And then it's a filter of perception of how you want your life to be, but also remembering of the being that you are doing that is perceiving all those things in the lower self. And then for it to be whole, you pair that with the higher self. And now the higher self, it knows the demands that your lower self has done through perception. And it sends those thoughts, those seeds that you plant into your garden of your mind, into the higher self that is the conceiver of everything. It conceives all the ideas and all the demands, all the desires that you send to it. And it starts to plant those seeds, and it acts as the gardener. And now it's watering the plants, and it's giving those seeds in your mind, in your garden, everything, the nutrients, the vitamins, the sunlight, the minerals that it needs in order to grow and in order to manifest in your environment, in your results, in your circumstances. And now, who you're being, your lower self and your higher self. Now, everything comes to fruition because you are in full alignment with who it is that you're being. So naturally, the things that you do, now they align to the version of yourself that you have perceived through the lower self and to your higher self that has gotten the desires in the higher self and conceived those seeds and planted them and nurtured them. Now you're reaping the fruits in a future, but acting as if that future was right here, right now, because no matter what, time is going to pass by anyways. So why not dictate and create the future that we desire and simply let time do its thing, let time catch up to our vision of our life, of who it is that we want to be, instead of always focusing on what do we have to do. Because if you only focus on doing, you're stuck in the lower self, you're stuck in the ego. You think that you have to figure it all out, and trust me, it is very limiting, and you will feel the limitations of the physical self, of your physical body, of your physical brain. But if we're able to pair the lower self with the higher self to get yourself and have both of those fully connected, fully in tune, fully in alignment, well, now you're talking the unlimited game. And now you're able to be the person that you want to be. You're able to do the things that you want to do. And what did being and doing have together in that equation? You're able to have the kind of life that you want, the body that you want, the life that you want, the finances that you want, the relationships that you want, the friendships that you want, every experience that you desire. You have sent that desire from your lower self in perception to your higher self for conception. Together, your lower self and your higher self have planted those seeds. They've watered them. They've nurtured them. You've created that vision. You've seen it over and over again in your mind to water those seeds, to water those seeds. You're watering your garden. There's weeds, you pick them out. There's weeds, you pick them out, like a good gardener would do. Eventually, you're able to be the kind of person you want to be. You're doing the things that you want to do, and you have everything that you want to have in this life. So my friends, I feel like this is a fucking crazy episode. I've just gone off the whim. It's crazy. Felt like a download. Felt like it was coming to me. I'm having shivers. I'm not kidding. It is what it is. But it's a great episode. So rewatch it if it is heavy. Slow it down if you need to. If you got any questions, drop them down in the comments below. But as always, I want to appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch or listen to this. It always means so much to me, and I'm very thankful for you guys being here. Let's kick it off. Let's have a great week. Great week to be making yesterday jealous. And like I always say, my friends, always keep making yesterday jealous.